Hey guys, what's up? I guess this is the first recording of the Nerdstock podcast. This is sort of our introductory episode, so you can get to meet all the crew. Hopefully, Allison's having a little bit of connection problems, but it's, Google, so yeah, kind of expect that. Uh, Joining me this week for the show is Juan Carlos Garcia. Say hi,
Good
my
enough.
friend. Did I get it right? I
It's
did.
one. Hey, it's Conde. My first last name is Conde.
Conde.
Spanish names. Yes, Conde. Like Dracula and so on. So that's a nice name to have. I'm okay. How to introduce myself? I only have three interests, and they are building time machines to punch racist chick bags, um, body slamming everything you like, and trying to find the meaning of Christmas.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh,
I've always
more
wondered what
serious.
that is.
What if the meaning of Christmas is building a time machine to go and punch racist dickbags in the face?
That would
That's a
be,
good one.
yeah, that would
you would
be
have
a
a
very.
field day at the Constitutional Convention.
I had 20. I wasted 20 years of my life, and the answer was right in front of me. Uh, but seriously, okay. So I've been a media commentator. What that means is basically I review shit for 4 years now. I've done it for local newspapers at Colombia. I've done it for national newspapers as well. I have been a political commentator for about 2 years, and I have done it on national television a couple of times. Once I did a dress as Clark Kent because I'm fucking amazing, and yeah, basically I'm a huge garbage nerd. That's what you should be getting from this.
There's nothing better than a huge garbage nerd. I mean, that's all of us, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just specifying that if we ever had to measure our garbage levels, I will be way higher than all of you forever.
I I don't know, man. I could spend about 20 hours talking about video games,
Can we put
comic
away
books,
the
so.
dork dicks? Just saying.
Okay, fine. I'm throwing out the power visors or whatever.
Also joining us is his partner in podcasting. You guys do a TV and movie podcast together. Is Jerry? Jerry, say hi. Introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, I'm Jerry, and as Chris has said, I work on a podcast with Juan that discusses film, media, sometimes comic books, whatever strikes our fancy at the time. We try to be topical, but we also branch out and do things that are in our interests. And my interests tend to vary from horror, particularly survival horror video games, superhero comic books, particularly if there are teenage mutants in them, uh, heavy metal, and a whole assortment of things, including Japanese superheroes, which, if there is something about Japanese superheroes on the site, it's probably either me or Chris.
Yep.
Uh,
We're
uh,
both big, huge Akiba Rangers.
uh,
Well, I'm trying to
uh,
get into the whole Kamen Rider crew. So I'll probably talk about W at some point. Let me put that much.
You gotta
uh,
start with Akiba Ranger. That is everything you love about Power Rangers and all of that, all of the Sentai stuff, just taking the piss out of itself. It's wonderful.
yeah, and it's made by the people who make Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, which makes it doubly beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
them taking the piss out of themselves, and there is nothing better than that.
yeah. Uh, I've spent some time as a writer, some time video and audio editing were things I've done significantly. I've made a couple amateur movies which will not be showing up on this site for your benefit.
Oh, come on, those are the best things.
We have to watch them. We have to watch them.
You really
Once you
want
bring
to
it,
see my 10-minute documentary on Vampire the Masquerade LARPers? Do you
No.
really?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I
Yes.
just, yeah, right now, yes, now that you said it.
I need it. I need it. I fucking need it. That's why
Yeah.
you don't bring these things to the table if you don't want them
Yeah,
on the table.
okay. Also, you'll
Dude.
notice I'm a master of digging myself deeper.
If I could find some of the videos I made in college, I actually need to call my college to see if I can see if they can dig them up and send them to me. There were some amazing things we did with our small video group. We did a half-hour skit show every month that we put together and showed in the theater. That was pretty ridiculous. Our last one, or one of the best ones, which was we only had about 20 minutes of stuff shot, and so we had to fill 10 minutes of it, and we only had 10 minutes of video, and we only had one night to do all this. Because once we finished editing, it cut down to like 20 minutes, and it was like, oh no, what can we do? And so I came up with this dumb idea that we just sneak down to the snack bar, and it's arm wrestling club. So we just spoofed Fight Club with me sitting there arm wrestling myself, which was arm wrestling like the biggest guy in school. But then we'd, cut the camera and he would disappear and I'd be arm wrestling no one, just sitting there with my arm there. And then, cut the change the camera angle again and he's back and back and forth. And then we ended it with, after all the speeches about the rules of arm wrestling club and all that spoofy crap, ended it with the RAs jumping in and just tackling me off the friggin' stool I was on, throwing me to the ground, and then, of course, Bad Boys starts playing, and that started our next series, which was just following RAs and having them, break up kids doing fucked up shit.
Jesus
It was
Christ, what?
It was pretty incredible. Like, I loved our dumb skit shows. They were fun.
Man, oh, my. Yeah, I would have loved to have had as creative a video team, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like many of the people here, I'm a supreme nerd, and I will probably be again writing about horror video games, the Japanese tokusatsu heroes, superhero comics in plenty, and maybe occasionally, if something worthwhile comes up, anime.
On your survival horror video games thing, if you haven't yet, go download PT. The production teaser that just got released. It's for Hideo Kojima's Silent Hill. And it
No. You're not here for this, Chris.
No, download PT, get on your PS4 or whatever, and download it because it will scare the piss out of you. That was legitimately.
You think I have a PS4
or a PS3? I think it is. Oh, well.
It should be on PC. Oh, either way, no.
If you have the ability to download it, or just watch a frickin' LP of it, because you will your pants.
I've seen it. This is an entirely different discussion because this one will go on a while.
Let's just say Jerry has opinions, and one of those opinions, the opinion that I think he's most wrong about, is not recognizing Hideo Kojima as one of the greatest geniuses of our generation.
That's because Hideo Kojima is kind of terrible.
Please don't do that to me right now. I am not here for this.
As you can see, this is a live video that thinks many things about many things.
Yep, and I think Jerry and I agree on that one thing. But no, PT was legitimately terrifying.
I've seen it.
It's a single hallway, just single hallway, and it scares the pants off of you. Just
I don't know. Like personally, I often avoid LPs for survival horror games. Like Silent Hill doesn't scare me unless I'm holding the control. It has never worked for me in that way. Um, so anyway, me and Jerry formed the Brain on Airway squad. We do podcasts normally twice a week, 30 minutes long each. They're both conceptually driven, if you will. It's outside the comfort zone where we each other tag the other one to force him to watch something that person A has seen before, and we know that person B normally will watch. Like, for example, we watched True Detective last week, and it was awful for Jerry. It was awful for Jerry. It was very fun for me because I like seeing Jerry suffer. I'm bored. I'm annoyed. It's like a good 75% of where he normally is in life, so I don't have to work hard. The other thing we did was we do is You Should Be Watching, which is also super simple. We just watch movies, watch anime. Sometimes it's You Should Be Playing because of video games. You are not supposed to watch video games. And yeah, those are the two podcasts that we do, and that's why we are the Brain on Airway Squad, with such a foolish name for a thing, but whatever. So that's what we do.
that's always a fun party, if you will. And also is Ann Mortensen Agnew, my
Hi, it's me.
co-partner in podcasting about comics,
Mhm.
and generally one of the most badass Sailor Scouts there is on the internet.
Yes, I talk a lot about Sailor Moon. Um, a lot about Sailor Moon, actually. Wow. Oh. Actually, my series is on hold right now, but I have a review series over at Kaboom with 5 O's, which is the website that I write for. That's a season-by-season analysis of Sailor Moon so far. I've done the first one where I talked about the sort of fate versus free will thing they have going on, and then family and power dynamics in the second season. Mostly focused on the comics because I like those more. In addition to Sailor Moon, I like Suikoden, the video game series that maybe 15 people have heard of.
Yeah!
This is one of the 15. It's my favorite video game ever, and I have a lot of opinions on that, actually. And I also enjoy comic books, obviously. Mostly Batman. I really like Batman.
I think you will find.
You're in good company.
Yeah, Batman. As well as Marvel Comics. Right now, particularly Ms. Marvel, Mighty Avengers, and Loki, Agent of Asgard, I think are the best things they're publishing.
And those are some damn good comics.
Yeah, they're really good. Particularly Agent of Asgard really just gets me right in the former Journey to Mystery fan feelings. I love Agent of Asgard so
I was
much.
surprised at how good it was because the minute I heard it, I thought it was going to be like, I thought it felt like something like, oh, Loki's popular in the movies, quick, get a Loki comic out.
Exactly. In my first review of issue number 3, which is one of my favorite single issues of the year, I love it, is just like, Agent of Asgard didn't have to be good to move copies. Like, it would just have to exist. And then it was ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an amazing comic, like one of the best that I've seen.
And I think the trade paperback of the first 5 issues I think comes out this week, and this series itself is going to resume after the 10th Kingdom thing they're doing with Thor and Loki right now, which I'm not reading because my comic shop never has any for me to read.
Ah, yes, one of those comic shops.
Well, apparently, like, Steve always under orders. He's like, I don't think it's going to sell that much, and then it sells out in 30 minutes.
Well, that's what happens, like, at my comic shop. If it's not one of the big titles, it's like, I'm just going to order a few over box subscription, and they're gone in so quick.
I just realized I'm actually not reading any X titles, and I just spent all this time before the podcast selling you guys on how great X-Men are, while you guys are like, X-Men suck.
I don't think X-Men suck. I liked what I read of Brian Wood's X-Men, which I then put down because Battle of the Atom, because I hate crossovers.
Yeah.
And which I then picked back up because it turns out Brian Wood was a horrible human being. So that's
The series was
considering
boring,
it because
too.
it's so good.
It's
See, I
not.
liked it, but
It's
I don't
not
really.
me.
Okay. Oh, it did.
It was
Okay,
good.
read
I
the
liked
first-
it initially.
Mhm.
I liked the first few, but then there was an arc that went on for like a million issues and nothing happened. Each issue was like, and look, a new bad guy. And then the next issue was like, and another new bad guy. And then it'd be like, oh no, wait, one less bad guy. It was like 12 issues of that. And I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, those first 12 issues were just one big, long, excessively long story arc, and it was like, guys.
I really wanted to like that comic because it's got some of my favorite X-Men in it.
Mhm,
You know,
same.
Psylocke's great. I'm one of the 5 people in the world that really loves Jubilee.
Yay!
I love Jubilee.
Yay,
Monet!
this
Monet!
Yeah, I was excited because Monet was gonna come into it, and then the Brian Wood thing happened right before she entered, so I never got the opportunity.
I read it for her, but it was the arc when she was there. It was just so boring.
Yeah, the next arc was much, much better. It took 3 issues.
I remember that
And
I
it
was
was
so
done. It was
excited.
like, thank God.
I
because
actually,
This is
after
generally the
Christ,
grace I get. 3 issues is generally the grace I give a comic, though. And then there was Jeff Johns' Aquaman, which I gave 1 because I was like, man, Jeff Johns' Green Lantern was awesome.
why?
I've stopped
I
making
liked
that-
Jeff Johns' Aquaman just because the whole thing was like, you keep talking about how, like, he just kept having every character in the book was an internet commentator. And
Aquaman,
it
like-
was just like Aquaman shoving their face in the fact that they're bullshit.
Well, my thing is,
That
why
sounds like
would
Jay and Silent
anybody
Bob
in the
Strike Back.
universe say that? They saw him stab Darkseid in the face with a trident. Their first thought would not be, "Oh, you talk to fish."
Yeah, but that's the problem with that book too, is they spend so much time telling and not showing.
Yeah.
Um,
Like for me, the thing is, like Jeff Jones stopped being good around. I remember the Sinestro Corps Wars. Oh my God, that's honestly like one of my favorite crossovers of all time. Probably one of the greatest things that DC has done with the whole idea of Green Lantern. But then it just turned to shit. Like you have Blackest Night, which was just boring.
Blackest Night, which had the pointless murder of the greatest character in the Green Lantern Corps by another
Logo?
member of the Green Lantern Corps.
who then came back the next issue.
Fucking Jon Stewart blowing up Mogo.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about Kyle Rayner, who died and then came back the next episode.
No,
for an issue.
I mean when he
Oh,
had Jon
Jesus.
Stewart completely blow up Mogo, that was bullshit. And fuck you, man. Fuck
He
you.
really
Mogo
loves
doesn't go down like that.
Chris,
He loves Mogo a lot.
since Anne brought it up, what do you think are the best comics coming out right now?
What do I think are the best comics coming out right now? I'm
Yeah.
absolutely in love with Silver Surfer. That is Mike Allred having a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's anything I love, it's fucking Mike Allred just
Mhm.
being allowed to let loose.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also add of the comics Anne didn't list, because my list would be exactly the same as hers pretty much. Rocket Girl from Amy Reeder and Brandon Montclair.
Mm-hmm.
Indie book. The trade just recently came out. It's like $10. It's the best $10 you will spend. It is super fun, and Amy Reeder really knows how to throw a good kinetic page together. Her stuff is so full of life and energy. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will say, if all new Ghost Rider is
Oh,
really easily actually my favorite comic coming out right now.
Oh yeah.
The way
Lucas
Trad
Games
Moore
off.
the way Trad Moore puts a damn page together is incredible.
I'm so sad he's leaving that book.
That guy, is he leaving permanently?
I don't know if it's permanently, but
I fucking hope not, because I'm sorry when I say I can't stand what's Damien Scott's art. Like, he got me to drop Batgirl, and Batgirl was my favorite book, one of my favorite books of all time. I just really don't like his art on things. It's I mean, Trad Moore has a very cartoony style, but it isn't confusing. He can throw a page together and you don't get lost. The problem with Damien Scott is he can't. You get lost when he tries to be crazy.
Yeah.
It is. You could get lost in a basic 6-panel grid with his art. He just tries too much. And, I mean, I'm usually not one to criticize art, but I've never liked his stuff. It is. Yeah. But yeah, if I had to pick 3 favorite books coming out right now, it's those 3. Rocket Girl, go buy it. All new Ghost Rider, buy it. I'm going to keep buying it even with Damien Scott drawing it. That's how much I like the writing and the characters. And Silver Surfer, I mean, they made me laugh at a Three Stooges joke.
I read issue 4 of Silver Surfer, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to start with that one. One that I read that came out this week is Hexed from Boom Studios, which I loved it. I've never read the original Hexed series, but the new #1 was. Well, I love it. It was fantastic. I had no problems with it.
Good.
I'm interrupting Jerry though, so you talk.
Oh, I was actually going to ask Juan and Allison. Or Juan, I think, is not currently reading comics.
Yeah, I kind of quit.
That's smart.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Well, you have a bunch of. Well, that's actually going to tie into my first recommendation, which I know is going to tilt heads, but my first recommendation is the current IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics.
It's really good.
Which are so amazingly good. Just the way they managed to mix in all the different continuities of Ninja Turtles except for Next Mutation, because everybody wants to forget Next Mutation, and it's good. It's probably it's definitely my favorite teen book out right now. It's got that sort of flavor of this crazy stuff, but it's surprisingly poignant. Like the way they handle the idea of the Turtles originally having all red headbands, and the way they handle that in the comic is the reason that is because Raphael, when the comic starts, they're separated from Raphael, and they're wearing the headbands because they're looking for their brother, and it's it's a really nice, and just it is just such a great comic. The artists change, but they're always great. If you've ever liked Ninja Turtles, even conceptually, it's just really good. One of the others that it's a little predictable and a little common for me to say it, but I really do think the comic has been that good, has been Dan Slott's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Which just continually, it's hard to talk about. Spider-Man, I think, pound for pound, has the best comics out there. You go throughout his entire history, you just need to chop out like the Clone Saga and J. Michael Straczynski's stuff, and you've got solid comics all through.
And you don't even have to throw out all of JMS's stuff, just the massively editorially mandated stuff, like Original Sin and...
Okay, no. Are you somehow saying to my face that you think that Spider-Man's powers coming from Spider Totem is not the actual most important development for the character since...
Lord.
Oh no, those were what you would call hot garbage.
Yeah. Oh,
But
Christ.
he did things better than a lot of other writers in that he actually seemed to not hate Mary Jane and make her a character,
I'll give him
which is
that.
why that last arc pissed everyone off so much.
Oh, One More Day is the worst Spider-Man story ever. Easily.
Horrendous.
Honestly,
I've read a bit of JMS's Spider-Man, and I really like that he had Peter become a high school science teacher. I think that was a really smart
yeah, that's what I
yeah.
that's where I was going to go. Like, I like JMS stuff in concept all the time. Like, Peter Parker becoming a science teacher really fits the character, and he puts him right at close with with doing his job right, which is the same thing that Dan Slott did on his own Spider-Man run, which is the Spider-Man's Peter Parker's passion is science. In my opinion, it should be. So having him, because I often struggle to believe that Peter doesn't have a job. I can accept it, but like I believe that you need to shake it up a little bit. That he needs to have more of a raw unemployment history of short jobs rather than constantly being unemployed. Mostly because it makes for more interesting runs and stories.
I'm struggling to think of a time where he's like, because most of the time he's freelancing for the Bugle, which is sort of a job. But yeah, just Dan Slott stuff. It's really imaginative, and my favorite thing is it takes characters that everybody hated, and it made the Jackal interesting. It made Kane a likable character.
Man, Kane.
Like, I do not think like there was that this on Matt Fraction's Tumblr. Somebody asked him the question, so once Dan Slott stops writing Spider-Man, would you want to start writing it? And Matt Fraction responded, that's a trick question, because Dan Slott will never stop writing Spider-Man. He was born for this.
Well,
and I agree. I think honestly, like, I think that those Stan Lee Spider-Man comics are some of the greatest comics ever made.
The final, oh my god.
Yeah,
the one where
and
he lives
I think, yeah, I think Dan Slott might overtake Lee with this work. It's that good. And my third one is Afterlife with Archie, which
Is that good?
Oh my god.
yeah, well,
sorry,
the thing is, yeah,
I think I need to leave the room because.
yeah, no.
Isn't Frank Avila doing the art
Yes,
on that?
yeah.
I actually would like to read it simply for, and I like the writer as well. I totally want to read Afterlife with Archie. Please go on.
It's Afterlife with Archie.
I'm not dissing, of course. I'm not
The
dissing.
idea behind Afterlife with Archie is that it's the kids in Riverdale, and it's a zombie apocalypse, and the joke is that there is no joke. It is a straight zombie story, and it's amazing. And it does a lot, like, it basically goes like, look at these characters and how perfectly they fit the horror archetypes. There's, Archie obviously as like sort of the good guy hero. Betty is, the prude. Veronica's the skank. And then there's Cheryl Blossom and her brother being in a quasi-incestuous relationship.
What?
Yeah, this is not an all-ages book. But
I'm only laughing because this sounds like this most Jerry thing in the world. This is so Jerry.
This is extremely Jerry.
yeah, this is the thing I've wanted the most in the world, and I never knew I wanted. And it has to bring the teenage witch fighting Cthulhu monsters, and what more do you need?
I don't need anything more.
Start buying this book right now.
Yeah,
that one sentence.
Yeah, it is. It is just, and Francesco Francovilla's art is
incredible.
Oh, it is amazing. Like,
the only thing
if you ever only read one Archie book, and really you should read other Archie books because there's good stuff in there, especially now.
Archie and the Punisher are one of the actual greatest things in the universe. Yeah. I think so.
I hate maybe giving credit to a guy, but Archie, ever since Alex Segura went over there years back, and suddenly they started like, hey, here's a gay character, hey, here's a black character, hey, here's a gay guy marrying a black guy, and it's like, Archie just suddenly became the most progressive company
In comics,
in
yeah.
comics, and it's Archie. So you think this really, really conservative group of guys, when it pops into your head, it's like, oh, conservative all ages comics, and yeah, they're still totally all
They're
ages,
still
but they don't.
completely based.
But they don't take things like, oh, gay stuff is gross and for adults only. Nope.
Mhm.
Hey, guess what? This is still perfectly appropriate for kids, and there's going to be a big queer on the page as a main character who is really well developed and really well written. It's like, yes, please, more of this.
I just added Afterlife with Archie to my Amazon wish list.
Yay!
Thank you for the recommendation.
Yes.
It is, and again, like the joke, quote unquote, is that there is no joke. This is a legitimate horror comic.
I'm so excited. You've sold it. That's all I needed to know.
Oh yeah, wow, that's extremely Allison.
It is. You've kind of listed all of the things I want in one place.
Yeah.
And, like you said, Archie's just been like their Mega Man stuff, which is like it's like Philip K. Dick for kids. It's great.
No, yeah, the Mega Man comics, the frickin' Sonic the Hedgehogs are great.
I still am trying to wrap my head around the fact that there's a comic, a Mega Man comic, that could be described as Philip K. Dick anything, including any.
It is the best thing with Mega Man in it since Mega Man X2, which, yeah.
Are you dissing Mega Man X3? In my
Yes.
face? No.
No, it's that good. It's so good.
But no, those
gosh.
are, yeah. Archie, especially over the last like 4 years, 3-4 years, has just become this, hey, incredible comic company, and it's like, hey, I'm buying everything they put out. What the hell is going on? Oh yeah, I decided to stop only buying Marvel and DC and actually start trying everything that comes out. And wow, did you know that there are a lot of good comics?
Boom is
Some of
putting
them
out a
don't
lot
even
of
have
really
people in
good stuff.
tights in them.
Yeah.
That
Holy
sounds
shit,
strange.
you're kidding me!
Boom.
You're kidding me!
Yeah.
This confuses and frightens me. I reject it. No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, agreed. I don't even read superhero comics anymore, but I'm with Anne. I don't understand this.
I will have no
big
call with
arc
this. No.
that happened in my comic shop over whether Judge Dredd was a superhero or not.
Well,
I guess not.
yes, he's a superhero because he has a movie, and it's really good. Sly
Dredd
Stallone
Blade.
was great.
Oh yeah, totally.
Dredd is the best HBO pilot that never got a series.
I know. I would totally pay for a long series of Sylvester Stallone running around, constantly taking his helmet off and
I
barely
am the
shooting
law.
people.
Different Dredd movies.
I am the law.
We are dead. Yeah, you're talking. Have you, Chris? Have you not seen the Carl Urban one?
I have seen Dredd, and it's incredible.
Okay,
Oh,
just
yeah.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only thing is with Dredd, and I know I am that person by saying that, but I always get a little mad by seeing Avon Barksdale, probably one of the great, Wood Harris, who plays Avon Barksdale on The Wire, probably one of the greatest character actors of this generation, just be a dude who gets punched a lot. He doesn't even have lines. Always.
That's pretty much the best role ever. Dude who gets punched a lot.
Okay,
Who are you? I'm dude who gets punched a lot in the credits.
I fully admit I could totally do that role, and I probably will win an Oscar with it.
If there's one thing I'm good at, it's getting punched in the face. I was a hockey player.
Oh, yeah.
So Canadian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm weirdly so. And then,
We talked when you believe maple syrup. Is that what you're telling us?
yeah, the amount of frickin' waffles I eat, yeah.
He eats a lot of waffles.
I eat a lot of waffles because
Yeah.
I know how to make the greatest sourdough waffles you will ever have. They're super good. Oh, and you will be in
Alright.
heaven. All right, and
okay.
also joining in, who's going to be joining us on a lot of the comic podcasts, is Allison O'Toole. There's some articles from her on the site as well, and she has a new gig at another site now, too. Tell us a bit about that. Tell us a bit about yourself, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Allison. I've been having connectivity issues. I'm from Toronto, so I'm probably our senior Canadian correspondent. Sorry, Chris.
It's okay.
Yeah, I write for. I'm a contributor to a website called Popcultury, which is actually based out of Australia, and I'm also a contributor and now assistant editorial for Paper Droids, which is a Toronto-based website that looks at pop culture from women's perspectives. I also, these days, I've been editing, helping a friend out. His name is Jason Liu, and he's working on a Toronto-based superhero comic called The Pitiful Human Lizard, which you can pick up if you're so inclined. It's a lot of fun, and I'm not saying that because of bias. So I do a lot of that. I do some charity cosplay work. That's, from a work perspective, that's me. I'm more recently a comics fan. I haven't actually been reading them for very long, maybe since 2011 or 12. 2011, I think. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
still
when Thor
catching
came
up.
out.
Yeah, exactly. That's when Thor came out. So
Yeah.
that's when I started. But I'm also a big horror buff. So Jerry, I guess we'll get along.
Yay.
I'm a big fan of the classics more so. Like, I studied English, so I'm big into like theorizing and watching old movies and being pretentious about them.
Now,
And
you mean like Bride of Frankenstein and Dracula, or do you mean more like Nosferatu and Cabinet of Dr. Caligari?
why not both, my friend? Why not
Very
both?
true. Very true.
I'm a huge nerd for Frankenstein in any form, though, which is something I'm sure will come out on the site at some point, but I have a Frankenstein problem.
Have
What do
you
you-
seen I,
How
Frankenstein?
many
This
copies?
is an important question.
Allison, how many copies of
no, no.
Frankenstein do you currently have? How many copies?
Like straight copies of the novel or books about Frankenstein? Do they count?
First 2 copies of the novel.
5 or 6? 5 or 6?
How many books?
I thought I was bad with my 3 Draculas.
How many books about Frankenstein do you have?
I own at least, I guess I only own 2 or 3, but I've read others that I got at the library.
Have you read Frankenstein, the comic Frankenstein Agent of Shade?
No, I've been meaning to, though.
It's one of my favorite comic books from DC's New 52. It's so good. It's so much fun.
Really? Okay.
And I also check out the Seven Soldiers Frankenstein stuff because, oh my god, it's so good. So
The
good.
Witch?
So good. Not the Seven Soldiers Frankenstein stuff.
Yes. I have those both on my to-read list. So yeah, no, I didn't realize that the New 52 series is any good, though, so I'll pick that
Oh,
up.
it's sort of like DC is trying to do their own Hellboy, but it's actually really, really good, and it gets its own identity really quickly.
Oh, that's awesome. Who's writing it?
Jeff Lemire and then a couple of other writers step in
She likes
intermittently.
Hellboy. She's Hellboy quite a bit.
I do.
And Jeff
Hellboy
Lemire
and
is,
Hellblazer.
yeah. Jeff
Jeff
Lemire
Lemire
is a
is the only
super
reason-
good writer.
Yeah.
Except
Jeff
when
Lemire is
he's...
probably what.
I feel really bad for him because he's stretched so thin on DC. Like, I think the only writer who's being stretched further is Jeff Johns.
And Jeff Jones, I mean, they have Jeff Jones writing Arrow by now, so that's how bad it is.
He's also working on film scripts as well. He worked on Green Lantern, and I think because that movie had 7 writers, it went through that many rewrites. So I want to know what Jeff Johns' original script was like. It might have actually been good.
Yeah.
That movie was hot garbage.
Oh, the hottest garbage.
Hottest.
Still a better movie than Man of Steel, though.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I disagree. But then again, my biggest problems, the things that ruined Man of Steel for me were two things. Jonathan Kent died. The way Jonathan Kent died, and the way Jonathan Kent told him he should have let a busload of children die.
Maybe. Like,
That is the worst thing ever put onto a Superman thing, and I have read Chuck Austin's run.
Here's the thing. I think that scene would have been acceptable if Little Clark said, "I should have let them die," and then Jonathan Kent pauses and he goes, "I didn't say that." Would have been a completely different scene.
My thing with Man of Steel is everything about Man of Steel, every single frame. Every
that
single
fight in Smallville's pretty cool.
His first flight was incredible.
The fight is cool. I actually love the fighting in that movie. It's just the third act goes way too long, and then it becomes destruction porn. And just after, and then you have that final fucking scene where Lois Lane and Clark are making out amongst the rubble, and she says, "You saved us," and in what world? In what fucking world?
The thing that gets me is
You saved us, very specifically us.
yeah, just oh Christ. Oh, I also love that they say every kiss after the first it gets worse. A, I have never heard anybody ever say that ever. B,
well, it's a good thing I'm not human. Haha.
like what the fuck?
And it's just like, for me, the worst thing about it, besides every single frame, is I actually really like Henry Cavill. I think he's a great Superman. He's not Christopher Reeve. He's not Christopher Reeve. Nobody's ever gonna be Christopher Reeve in my heart. But oh my God, he's like there are only 3 jokes in this movie, which is a huge problem. And I know them. I counted them. I'm so happy. There are only 3 jokes in this movie.
Are you saying the blatant advertising for fictional corporations was not a joke?
Only if you agree with me that destroying drones so blatantly in a blatant display of, politics is also a joke. There are only 3 jokes in this movie, and and one of those jokes is basically women sure like Superman, and the other one is the S doesn't. Okay, no, this is the greatest joke in Superman. It's not a joke. The S doesn't stand for the S stands for hope. Is that the line? I think that's the line.
It's not an S. It's a symbol. On my planet, it means hope.
Well, fuck you. It's an S on Earth, dude. Walking started. It started like it's hot, but for real, like it doesn't make sense. In what world do they get S's that don't? No.
Well, when it comes to superhero movies, though, the best superhero movie, I will stand by this and I will defend this opinion, is Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah.
I love Batman.
I love Batman and Robin.
It's the best, but it's
So many people sit there and go, "It's terrible, it's so dumb," and it was like, yes, and it was meant to be.
But you know what's dumber?
Batman and Robin's fantastic.
But you know what's dumber? The Dark Knight fucking Rises. That's dumber than Batman and Robin. Let me tell you.
The porno wasn't bad.
The porno was better than...
Yeah.
Yeah, the porno had your guy John Constantine in it.
He did.
Which one of the pornos?
Have you guys seen the Dark Knight Rises porno? Like the Dark Knight Rises XXX?
I have seen every Batman porn parody.
Cool.
You're a person in this world.
I love
cool,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Right now.
That first one was kind of like the weirdest thing because it was like, here's a guy with a perfect Frank Gorshin impression as the Riddler, and oh my god, what the hell?
Oh yeah, it's like the.
Are
no,
you saying that
like,
you're
the
not into the Riddler in
impersonations
that
are
way?
so spot on in that 60s porn parody. It's great.
It was wow.
People only
I'm sorry,
Jesus.
Aaron.
It's a whole bunch of guys talking about porn parodies now.
So, Alice,
You-
what was up with John Constantine and the one you saw? I like
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this story.
Oh yeah,
This,
well,
this is very in character John Constantine.
yeah. Well, I had read that it had the best version of John Constantine ever committed to film, and I was like, well, better than Keanu, may as well watch it. And there was, so basically, there was some semblance of plot. Batman needed something from Zatanna, I don't remember what. And she goes, like, backstage at a club where she's performing, and, like, every sex scene in this movie starts with a blowjob. But this blowjob goes on for, like, 7 minutes, and it doesn't go anywhere. And then Batman walks in, so Zatanna gets up, and John just pulls up his pants and sits down, doesn't even zip up his fly. He doesn't get to finish, he doesn't put on his underwear, he just pulls up his pants, says something sarcastic, and then Batman leaves. So John gets half of a blowjob, and it's amazing.
My favorite in that movie is when he goes to interrogate Poison Ivy, who is doing nothing wrong in this movie. She's just chilling in her garden, and Batman's like, "Do you know what's going on with Bane?" Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, "I've been here," and then he blows up her garden.
Wait, is that this one? Because in this one she has sex with Nightwing. For some reason.
Again, I've seen numerous Batman porn
Wait,
parodies.
was this the one where she enters the scene through a slide?
What the fuck are these movies? They sound
Through it's just like a metal playground slide, and here comes Poison Ivy.
Yeah. No, I think that might be the Dark Knight one, like the porn parody of like the good Dark Knight movie.
Oh, the real.
Which is also
Dark
weird
Knight.
because it has like one of the actors is just straight up doing like a completely unironic Heath Ledger Joker impression. And it's like, this is one of the, like, okay, you're doing an okay performance, but this is not something that anyone would ever consider. Well, there are, unfortunately, but people should not consider this sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Well, to be fair, I think that 35%
No,
Batman
no. To
comics.
be fair, no fairness involved here.
No, there's no fairness. That one was the way I watched that one was just through Chris Sims over at Comics Alliance doing all the recaps of the porn parodies.
That's how I heard about it too.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I watched all of those. Generally through just his animated gifs of Poison Ivy coming down a slide.
See, when you said
Well,
slide, I thought you meant like a slide cut, like something like in Star Wars, where it then just wipes and then poison
No,
Ivy's here.
no,
Yours is better.
I mean an actual like playground slide.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Those movies are a thing, I think. I haven't seen a single frame of them, but I know that my leg has been missing something. I think it's
Well,
pretty clear
it's-
to say.
It's got to be a better use of 3 hours than The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, cutting my own.
Then again,
finger in
that's
it.
my thing. My thing is about the Nolan Batman films is he's not a detective at all.
Yeah.
He runs around screaming at
Where's the
people. He
trailer?
goes, "Where's the dog?"
I don't know if I'd agree with that because he does do some detective work in The Dark Knight. Like, he actually does actual detective work.
Yeah.
And,
My thing with
No,
Batman.
no, no.
being-
My thing with Detective War in the Dark Knight is that it's not detective work, it's guerrilla fucking work. Remember when he goes to Hong Kong and kidnaps a fucking person?
Well, but then he
Like,
takes
using this-
footprints. He looks at bullet holes. He assembles guns to is this the right gun thing? Is this right? No. Is this right?
Yeah, I
okay.
remember
This is
that.
right.
Yeah, I
Using
remember
that
that.
high caliber gun that you probably could have just gotten the filings of the bullets like actual police do.
Well, this was
But
a
you
lot cooler.
That's
But my thing
yeah.
about
I'm pretty sure
Batman
that
Begins-
you should know that. Sorry, keep going. I was just gonna say
Batman
the
Begins
Batman.
is like Lucius and Alfred do all the detective work in that movie. And the thing is, I guess that would be okay in Origin, but by the time that stuff's going on, Batman is at the top of his game. He's hanging from buildings, where are you here? Who are you? I'm Batman, that kind of stuff. So that was something that annoyed. Also, I'm not going to kill this man, but I will blow up this place, killing all the ninjas in it, and probably the guy I said I wouldn't kill.
God.
I love the Nolan films.
It's also just so annoying because it's such an otherwise tight script.
Right?
Except for that one fucking scene.
It's I love Batman Begins, but you're exactly right. Like, I love it in spite of that horrible. I don't have to kill you, but I won't save you either. Bye.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Even though what's it be like, take my hand, I can save you, and then
You know what was the moment where I was really fucking tempted to just stand up and leave the theater in the dark? It's the moment when, he has the flame tumbler, or what the fuck. Oh, the flame tumbler, whatever. Fuck it.
Batman's blogging site of choice!
Exactly.
Yes. Batman.tumblr.explosions.com.
Anyway, he's chasing Talia or whatever, and he has to shoot the tank with the nuclear reactor thing that will blow up Gotham, because this movie makes sense.
Because sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
He shoots the fucking truck. He shoots the fucking truck and kills the pilot. And you know what? They don't even say a single fucking thing about it. Like, Batman just killed a dude like it was fucking nothing. And he just goes off and saves Gotham and does that thing where he pretends he's dead, because apparently that's what superheroes do.
By lying to the people of Gotham, Juan.
Pitbap and
that's the worst fucking part.
Constantly, like, Bruce Wayne would. I hate that the movie begins with Batman kind of stopped fighting crime because the Harvey Dent law was really good. Like, really, I don't think you know anything. Do you even Batman? Even if all crime
stops. I guess Gotham City's like a nice vacation spot now.
Yeah. Even if here's the thing, even if all the big crime ended, Batman would still be out there chasing purse snatchers because that's what killed his parents. He's not going to stop protecting people. I hate this movie so much. And then he just kind of leaves at the end to hang out with Catwoman, which.
You know what
I never thought I would hate a movie that made Batcat is official Endgame. Have fun. I never thought I'd hate that movie, but I do. I hate it. I hate this movie so much.
You know what I wish had happened from this movie? Tom Hardy's spoken word album.
Oh, yes.
And he would use this voice, and it would only be songs from comic book movies. Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside from this nothing I have become. Have you never seen a ninja get down? Ninja rap. I would buy 20 copies.
We need a WhiteHouse.gov petition to ensure this will happen.
To all of my friends forever.
They say that a hero can save us. No. I'm not going to stand here and wait.
Where are the trolls?
I know you're a fan of the Raimi Spider-Man one, so I threw that in for you.
Oh boy.
Oh shucks.
Wow.
But you have to I beg you have to do Kiss for a Rose in Bane's voice. Please.
Oh God, I can't. Yes, but also God.
God, and now I'm blanking on the lyrics. Fuck.
Double Google.
There was a great tower.
Your eyes become lighter. They shine like the. Fuck, I fucked it up. Fuck. I didn't know that song by heart.
Light
that it shines can be seen.
My power, my pleasure, my pain.
Wow.
Like, that was the thing, is there are a lot of things about that movie that I totally would have enjoyed if they didn't, like, totally fuck them up so badly. Like,
Yes,
I
agree.
loved
Anne
Judge
Hathaway as
Judge
Catwoman.
Scarecrow. Judge Scarecrow was great.
Oh, that was my favorite scene in the entire movie.
I was actually hoping there'd be a
Scarecrow's
hat
cat.
trick, like Batman would come up and beat him up a third time.
It's what is, you have to choose between death or exile.
Yeah.
You choose death. Okay, death by exile. Oh my gosh.
That was
See,
good.
this is, you know what we need? Chris Nolan's Batman Judge Dredd crossover.
Oh,
where
God.
Judge
Oh.
Dredd will teach Batman that we have to kill people.
I will watch that. I will watch that, to be honest.
Like, I still say that the Aquaman movie needs to be like the Brave and the Bold version. Like, you know, right over on land, you got Superman snapping people's necks, and underwater, you got Aquaman going on adventures.
I'm saying no,
You
great
have-
juice.
The opening of the Aquaman movie has to be the Couriers of Atlantis song, though, from Brave and the Bold. It has to be that.
Oh, God. Like, that's the thing, is, holy crap, oh God, the Brave and the Bold Aquaman is, I just want him to have his own animated series,
I call it Aquaman's rousing song of heroism.
because that guy was incredible, and
John
recasting
DiMaggio?
him as the sexiest man on television,
Jason Momoa.
I kind of, holy crap, I kind of just want to lick him. He is way too pretty.
He is.
You're melting. Oh man, Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa's Aquaman. It's gonna be a thing. I think it's gonna be out there with Henry Cavill as Superman in terms of castings that I really like, but the movie's gonna suck and it's gonna rip my heart out or make me cry about the fact that I ever hoped things about movies ever.
There's one way that you could fix every single problem with DC movies, and here it is. No, shut up and let me finish.
Go
There's
on.
one way to fix it. Fix it all. You get rid of fucking David Goyer.
Thank you.
Because
He's the
fuck
worst.
that guy. Literally, no one in that production of Man of Steel wanted the neck snapping scene except for David Goyer, and he refused
Snyder
to
wanted
let it go.
Zack Snyder wanted it too.
I think it was just David Goyer.
Zack Snyder
No.
Goyer argued over
And
it
they
because
had to
Zack
go-
Snyder had that entire thing where he went, well, we need Superman to kill somebody, so he'll have even more of an appreciation for life. Because clearly, what you really need to do to hold all life sacred is take a life away. Because that's how stuff works.
I really don't value people because I've never murdered someone. It's something it's on my to-do list though.
It's like killing people is like a Big Mac. You gotta try one to know if you like it or not.
No, but Goyer is the biggest poisonous influence on that whole thing. It's, I mean,
definitely.
his stuff from that one panel that you getting up and like, how many of you know who Martian Manhunter is? How many of you are virgins? It's like, fuck you, you piece of shit.
Second of all, Martian Manhunter.
Gone too. Like,
Martian Manhunter is probably one of the greatest characters of all time, and I don't know. I want to fight Goyer over this point. Really,
I mean,
every
here's the thing:
kid
though, he's
that watched the
recognizable to be. Yeah, exactly. Like
anime.
he's recognizable to begin with because he was in Justice League. He was one of the main characters, so people know who he is.
he's also got a very striking design.
Yeah,
And
he's very recognizable.
He was in the
he
best
was-
Christmas episode of television of all time, which was him having Christmas with Clark and Uncle and Pa and Ma Kent.
Here's the thing. He's the biggest Oreo advertisement device created ever. Seriously. How do you not know who Martian Manhunter is. I don't know. This guy bores me to death. And the whole thing with Constantine, remember that? Where he said, oh, no, Constantine became bisexual after 16 years.
Yeah, but Constantine. No, it's like because he like the line not just made it like that sound like that. It was like yeah, because he only did it a few times in the comics. He's not actually bisexual. It's like I've only like made out with a few dudes, but I'm still queer. Doesn't magically make me not queer. I still look at a dude and I'd go, yeah, I'd probably bang that guy.
Well,
Did he
again,
actually say
Juan,
that, though?
remember your argument about how you can't make a good movie with a shitty script? I present to you the first 2 Blade movies.
I still generally, well, I don't know. I haven't seen Blade, so
I'm sorry. Some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill.
It was all
dialogue in history.
Downhill for Goyer's writing career after that.
All I know is that the Blade movies led to Blade 3, which David S. Goyer directed, and it led to Ryan Reynolds acting in a movie, unironically. We let that happen. We allowed that to happen, and I think all of us are accountable for that terrible crime.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
Ryan
but I
Reynolds.
love Blade 3. It is so perfectly dumb. Ryan Reynolds is dumb as hell. Freaking Triple H is the dumbest.
The worst fucking
Dumbest
Dracula
job.
ever.
He.
Like, I could play a better Dracula than that.
Oh. The guy from Prison Break was Dracula, yes, and he was awful, but he wasn't the bad guy. The bad guy was Triple H and Piper Perabo, who were amazing.
My thing is, in college, there were a bunch of people who were arguing it with me that was not only the best Blade movie, but it was legitimately a really good and intelligent movie.
No, it was terrible, but it was great for that reason.
Like, it's like they were trying to make, like, you know that entire scene where Dracula's holding a baby hostage all the while talking about honor? And he was, this guy was trying to tell me that was actually a really intelligently crafted scene.
Oh boy.
I remember arguing with my friends about X-Men 3, The Last Stand, because I walked out of that theater so unsatisfied. My friends thought that was the illest shit alive.
They probably thought him saying "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch" was the best thing ever. It's like, haha, they did a meme. Ha ha ha.
Well, to be fair, they're Colombian, so they didn't know that shit at all.
Good.
But oh my god, like, how could you argue that that movie was anything resembling bullshit? And you know what? The same happened with X-Men Origins. The fucking movie that ends with an actual adamantium bullet as a plot device to justify.
It's really good that the bullet hit his memory center and not, like, his bowel control.
That is a good point.
Oh god.
Imagine an actual movie.
Here's the thing: if X-Men Origins Wolverine was only like 10 minutes long, it would have been the greatest X-Men movie ever because it would have ended right after Ryan Reynolds stopped being Deadpool. But like,
you know what? That's actually at Ryan Reynolds'
awesome.
redemption.
I will say it does have Wolverine blowing up a Humvee to sell fastball special into a Black Hawk helicopter that somehow exists in the 60s, but whatever.
That sounds cool.
It's
Dumb, but cool.
Yeah, like, that's the best scene in the movie where he just goes nuts. He launches onto a Humvee, manages to get it to blow up, and launches himself into a helicopter and kills the guy in it. It's great.
I like how they advertised like Gambit being in it as a good thing, and it's literally like 20 seconds of Taylor Kitsch.
People like Gambit for some reason because, like,
he's from Dawson, who is also a man rights activist.
I was going to say he's a pickup artist. Honestly, I think that fits him better.
I guess he's like generically charming in a way that appeals to teen girls, because I know
he's the roguish thief.
It's just, this is a guy who literally says French words ironically, and tries to go for that Cajun spy aesthetic.
You don't like that accent shit?
Yep.
No, I played X-Men Legends with a dude who really liked Gambit, and so and whenever we separated, he would just like jam on the let's join up button. So I had to hear, let's stick together, mon ami. Let's stick together, mon ami. Let's stick together, mon ami.
Oh my god, but you played X-Men Legends. That game was so awesome.
The first X-Men Legends is my favorite of all of those games. Those were good games.
Yeah, X-Men. I like the first two X-Men Legends, like X-Men Legend and X-Men Legends 2. I legitimately like those games.
And the first Marvel Ultimate Alliance was pretty good. The second one was hot garbage.
And that was the one that's based on Civil War, right? I remember that people were talking about it. I'm like, first of all, who won Civil War ever? Like ever?
I heard that game was actually like did Civil War not horribly, but I've never played it.
No, what they did was that the registration was actually an evil virus taking over people's minds. So no, it didn't.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, wow,
So,
you've made Mark
Like,
Miller
there's
seem
no
good
doing
in
Civil
comparison.
War well.
There are two Allisons.
Yeah, I don't know. Google kicked me out. Sorry.
No,
It happens.
yeah,
Google is
like, I remember Ultimate Alliance where it was actually Doctor Doom trying to get audience power or some shit, and that was it was like my introduction to the Marvel Universe at large. So I was really happy with that. Like, I'm really happy that Doctor Doom was my first Marvel villain because nobody else could be. Nobody else.
Doctor Doom is the gold standard.
And
He really is.
he's one of the best.
I'm so
He's
mad
like-
that Fox owns him. Like, why Doctor Doom though?
I
Why
want Marvel to buy the rights back to Doctor Doom just so they can do a Captain Britain and MI-13 movie, so
With
they can
Dr.
have
Doom and
Dracula teaming up with Doctor Doom to shoot vampires at
From
England
the moon.
from
Oh,
cannons
Sounds
from his castle
amazing.
on the dark side of the moon, because that is one of the greatest comics of all time.
see,
Can
okay.
you give me the information on that? I need to read that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Some very
Shit funny
specific
about
thing,
Annihilation.
guys, allow me to sell one of the greatest comics
You've
of all
already
time.
sold it. You've already sold it.
Paul Cornell.
Shooting at Dracula's.
Paul Cornell, his run on Captain Britain and MI-13 starts with a crossover with the Skrull invasion, Secret Invasion, but it was really, really good because there's nothing cooler than the first thing that happens is Faiza Hussein gets superpowers, and Faiza is incredible. One of my
I've heard that.
favorite characters of all time because she's totally a fangirl and hysterical and like just really, really cool. But then they have to go up to my brain's Camelot because Avalon because the Skrulls are invading Avalon and
Of course.
to get the sword to get Excalibur, and they're so they fight off them, and sadly Skrull John Lennon loses his life. And but then
Someone was a dick, so it's fine.
Faiza picks up Excalibur and becomes the new Captain Britain, or not Captain Britain, but becomes the new King Arthur essentially.
Amazing.
And then it goes on. Then there are a couple of supernatural arcs that come up with all sorts of characters like Captain Midlands and stuff like that that are just so very British.
Captain Midlands.
And then it comes to the greatest story arc of all time. Blade comes over for this, and Blade came over during the Captain Midlands arc, and he actually starts dating Spitfire, who's a vampire. After they fight a bunch, I guess they start hate fucking and then start dating.
Okay.
And it's actually
vampires all the time, dude. Have you
it's-
read any of his numerous minis?
and it's totally adorable. But
I've read way too many Blade comics.
yeah. But then there's an arc where Doctor Doom teams up with Dracula from his castle on the dark side of the moon. And we're not talking stupid red armor, white hair Dracula that they brought in like 2 months later into the X-Men
Fucking
comics,
Sephiroth Dracula.
which was bullshit. That character sucks. No, Dracula has sassy-ass eyebrows
Yes.
and just incredible everything.
The eyebrows is all I needed to know.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sold.
classic
Marvel
Marvel
Dracula
Dracula.
look like Jack Palance.
And he's invading England with his vampire army and like Lilith and all the vampire characters, but he's literally shooting vampires at England from cannons from his castle on the moon.
That sounds amazing.
But what I like about it is there's a logic to why he's on the moon. It's not just because it's cool. It's because the sun never shines on the dark side of the moon. He's invincible there.
Yeah.
But also it's the moon.
Yeah.
Were the Inhumans there too? Where were they?
This came out around the same time as Civil War and Annihilation. And here's the big tragedy: I'm sure Annihilation is really great one, but nobody remembers this comic, and it makes me so mad.
Because
I think issue is it.
We talked, Allison, about werewolves on the moon, right?
No,
No.
you mentioned it. Yeah, kind of. You mentioned it, but we never really got to go in depth with it.
No,
You
we
told me
talked
about a different
see,
conversation.
No, we talked about werewolves on the Enterprise and then moons and how they would deal with that. That's just what I
Yes,
thought.
yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yes, that's what it was. But so like in this Dracula moon base, if a werewolf came there, would he be like able to fight Dracula successfully, or like would he just be like, oh no,
I wonder, they should have sent Werewolf by Night up there.
Yeah, Jack could have helped.
Yeah.
Oh.
I still have this theory that in 2023 we will have a Werewolf by Night movie, but we will not have a Wonder Woman movie.
And still the false equivalency of that argument will stand because Marvel will still have not done a Black Widow or Captain Marvel movie.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. You know what? There will be a Cosmos solo movie before there will be a Black Widow movie. Mark my fucking words.
Well, Captain Marvel's a more interesting character.
Yeah, I meant Cosmos.
Don't make me fight you.
I would like a She-Hulk movie. I'm just throwing
I
that
would like
out.
a She-Hulk Netflix miniseries. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. I just want her
Written
to
by
be
David E.
on-screen.
Kelly as just a lawyer show.
Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing? I'd watch
That'd
the
be
shit
good.
out of that.
Well, that would be an entirely big deal. What more do you need?
Netflix, hire me.
I want a good wife, but with She. That's
Yes.
all I'm laying down. And you know what? Here's the thing. Netflix shows. Okay, where are they right now? They have Daredevil. They have
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones.
And
Okay.
Jessica Jones.
Misty Knight.
Then they're going to do a Defenders movie after that.
And you know what should be next? There should be a Misty Knight after all of that. There should be.
Yes.
A Misty Knight.
Yes.
Misty Knight would be
That's
good.
what I want.
I honestly want
That's
the Fearless Defenders lineup from the Cullen Bunn series.
God,
Oh,
that book was
good.
so great, just for the covers.
The covers were fantastic.
Oh yeah, the cover like
book,
the action figure and
didn't
the anime
make-
one. Oh, they were also great. And the fighting game one. Oh my god, the fighting
Oh,
game.
the fighting game was good.
Which also another character. I've read every comic with Elsa Bloodstone in it as well.
I want also watch that show. That's who I was thinking of, and I completely forgot. That's
Elsa
what I
Bloodstone
want.
TV show would be amazing.
That would be good.
Like full-on Angel Buffy style, but actually good. Sorry.
No,
I-
just
I'm
do
gonna
it.
buy
Elsa
you one. I'm
Bloodstone
gonna
and the Legion of Monsters.
I loved
I
that
had-
Monsters miniseries.
God, they're so great.
I want a Legion of
I
Monsters
fucking-
movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm right there. I think you and I are going to get along, Elsa.
I was gonna say, let's co-write this movie, Jerry. I like you.
That would be so great. Like Morbius, the living vampire, and
Love. I love
and
him.
freaking what's his
Manphibian.
No, I
yes.
actually do have like comic pitches for Elsa Bloodstone and the Legion of Monsters ongoings in my head if I ever work at Marvel.
Yes.
My favorite,
Did it-
like that's one thing. Like Rick Remender, he's done a lot of crap lately, but when he's allowed to be nuts, like frickin'
Frankie Castle.
Frankencastle is one of
Love
my
it.
favorite
Me
comics of all time.
too!
It is so good.
Also, like,
The entire point is summed up in one sentence. That is,
so
the
good.
Punisher gets killed and chopped up into little pieces by the gay son of Wolverine, put back together by Morbius the living vampire to fight dinosaur-riding Nazi Japanese samurai
So good.
alongside the Monster Society of Evil.
I
How is
love
that
it.
not incredible?
oh,
I'd
it's
like 10 copies, please.
It's
My-
the best, and it's so good.
yeah,
I'm
my
gonna-
thing
I'm
is,
gonna-
like,
Jesus.
everybody compares it to the time Punisher was an angel, which
No.
is
No,
which is,
because-
it's the worst Punisher story, and that's saying something. It opens with Punisher committing suicide, so you already know you're on the wrong track. It's
Yeah, he commits suicide and then gets turned into an angel, and it turns out that his entire his family dying was orchestrated by demons. So now he gets magical angel guns, and he fights
you forgot
demons.
the part where his symbol is a demon.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Okay, so what if we
like,
took
it
that
takes
and we
away-
turned it into a volcano?
It
Yeah.
any agency from
We're
Frank
cool
Castle.
with pretending that didn't. We're cool with pretending that didn't happen, right? Right,
Okay.
I think we're
Not that
all.
it's welcome back, Frank. It basically says the angels tried to hire me. I told them to go shove it. Which is all that fucking stupid story needs as far as thought goes.
Bless Frank Castle. Bless Frank Castle.
Like,
Oh man.
Also, welcome back, Frank. Oh, just whenever Ennis and Dylan work together, I love it.
Oh yeah. Oh
those
yeah. You know, like I've only read one Hellblazer run because I hate Joy and I do not enjoy things, but also because it was the easiest one to find, and it's that Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon Hellblazer run, and that thing is just. Oof.
Yeah.
That comic with the 40th birthday where he rolls a joint so large that Satana just looks at him like really scared and turned on. That panel is everything to me. That
Oh,
panel is
yes.
Oh.
Those.
and then there's Swamp Thing hanging out at John's apartment. Oh my god,
And making reefer.
oh yeah, natural swamp river. Oh my god,
Wow.
I
This
cannot
is
believe.
amazing.
You've read Dangerous Habits, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm a person.
It's like if you only read one Hellblazer, and you should read every Hellblazer story except for the Brian Azzarello stuff. But
Oh, you and Allison are gonna get along super well. Wow.
Wait till Doctor.
Oh my god, she fucking hates Brian Azzarello.
Wait
Okay,
till-
so she got kicked out of the chat again because it's terrible.
yeah,
But
I
if
saw.
she was here when you said that, you would just this would become the Jerry and Allison podcast immediately.
I think his Wonder Woman stuff is okay, but Wonder
I
Woman's not a
think his
character.
Wonder Woman stuff, I'm sorry, he turned the Amazons into rapist pirates.
For me, like
That was sort of the last straw of
The thing
this
is,
is
they're
really
Greek
good,
myths.
and then
It
fuck
fits.
you.
It fits. He was going for making them Greek mythological characters, and I think that
So
fits.
you want to do that? Go with what Greg Rucka did. Don't make them fricking rapist pirates.
I
I
don't know.
don't
Like
think
personally,
they're
my
wrong.
thing.
Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman run is widely considered one of the best all time on the character for a reason.
Because
Big
there's
time
barely
mythological,
any good on the character.
big time frickin' mythological focus. Tons of development for Diana. She's smart as hell. She's actually a diplomat in it. Her wait staff consists of the most adorable minotaur in existence. Oh, Ferdinand! I actually have like
I love
5
him.
pages of Ferdinand the full
I
original art on my
I'll
wall.
agree with you that Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman is probably the best, but it's the problem with any Wonder Woman story. Everybody always goes in a completely new direction because DC has no definite idea what to do with her other than she's the girl and vague feminism points. Like, there is very little to the character.
There is a lot to the character when people write her right. And
But
you know what? The problem is they keep bringing on random people who have no understanding of the character who write shitty-ass stories. You got JMS coming in going, okay, I'm going to blow it all up, and now she's this weird memory-lapsed. And the funny thing is, the JMS story actually got really good after he got booted off of it and got somebody else took over.
Story, once Chris Robertson took over.
Oh God, Chris Robertson on that stuff was great. It was just kind of like almost immediately shift of, yeah, you know all those last issues? Those were really dumb.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I always remember of the JMS fucking run? It's this issue where there's a girl about to choke herself a building. It's just like All-Star Superman, but it's 10 pages long, where Grammars only did 2 panels, and the speech was Superman saying, the world is not fair.
JFK is alive and Fidel Castro is dead. Oh my fuck. Superman would never wish death on anybody.
It's something so fucking basic. Like, do you not understand what Superman is about? And the whole thing is just him crying a lot while walking America. Like, if I want to
my favorite one. My favorite is the aliens whose planet were destroyed, and they come to Earth because they have nowhere else to go, and he tells them, you have to leave. Fucking Superman!
Didn't Robertson take over the next issue and completely change that whole thing?
Yes, but it's the stupidest fucking, like, that you just made Superman the world's biggest fucking hypocrite.
You just made Superman Zeb Coulter. Get out of my America!
And it's just so fucking ridiculous that somebody doesn't understand Superman to that degree. And like, I remember reading Eric 1 too, and I did that because I am finding new ways of hurting myself. And this comic that has Superman just cry a lot more about the idea of being Superman than actually being Superman. And why would you? Why?
My thing is, like, I don't know what is with so many writers and wanting to separate Superman from action, from doing stuff, from saving people, from punching robot gorillas. Jeff Johns' new Superman run opens with Superman punching a robot gorilla. And it's great.
You understand?
Well, that's what I'm loving is right now is Greg Pak on Superman is also great.
Oh, Action Comics and Superman, just now that Scott Lobdell's gone off of those books, they're great.
That's because Scott Lobdell is hot garbage.
My neighbor did stand-up with Scott Lobdell in the 80s, actually, and he asked me how his comics were, and I said, they're
hot
questionable. I said they're questionable because I was like, is he friends with Scott Lobdell? And he was like, oh, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, knowing what I knew about him. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. So he's always been terrible.
I will always say that there's a good thing about Scott Lobdell's comics, and it's that they're finished. Like, somebody actually finished them. That's the only compliment I can throw at him.
I remember we did one of those games about stuff we hate, and I think I saying positive stuff about stuff we hate, and I think I sent you Scott Lobdell, and that's all you could think of.
Yeah.
It's honestly like the only possible thing. Like, he's a good writer in the sense that he can finish stuff on time, presumably.
No, I can't stress Jeff Johns. Whenever Jeff Johns does a solo Superman book, it's great. His Action Comic stuff's so good.
Hey, here's one. Name one good thing about Brad Meltzer. I'll do that. Hearing sound? That feels really good.
We talk about Dr. Light now?
Yes, I just tore apart a Brad Meltzer comic.
Okay,
set it on fire.
Here's a good thing about Brad Meltzer.
he's barely writing any more comics?
You now have the standard by which to judge everything you hate.
Yeah.
I will. Identity Crisis. Now I know what the worst comic in the world is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you actually read it after that, or?
I read it when it came out on hardcover, because when it came out, I was kind of more of a Marvel zombie, and I think the only things I was reading was Morrison's Batman, the good Batman stories, and I read the hardcover, and it's like, this makes no sense. It's stupid. Why?
You just turned a silly villain into a rapist?
And it's just a silly villain who I should note was in the children's cartoon that was coming out at the same time.
Well, and you want even worse. There was an issue of Green Arrow after that from Judd Winnick where he tried to play the false equivalency game of what's worse, rape of the body or rape of the mind. And
Christ.
It was quite possibly the grossest thing ever.
Why do you let write stuff?
You got my disgust when you said Jack Winnick.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot believe Jack Winnick is a writer.
He gave us fucking Red Hood. He gave us Jason Todd Red Hood. Like,
I honestly, I don't understand people who like Jason Todd, to be honest. I really
doesn't your Bell like Jason Todd one?
I like Jason Todd.
I don't hate Jason Todd. I don't. I liked Under the Red Hood, at least. I think he was mishandled after that. But I had a friend who loved Jason. I think she had a crush on him. But she was also a 16-year-old girl, so that's your answer.
16-year-old girls are the best. Wait.
Yes. Oh yeah. But also it's just like clearly I don't fucking Jason Todd is a hot goddamn mess. I don't.
Jason Todd is. There was a lot of promise to some of the stuff that he's been in.
Yeah.
There really is, but it's just never good.
Jason Todd should not be on good terms with the Bat family, especially not with Dick. Dick should fucking loathe Jason. Like, Batman might have sympathy for Jason because Batman would see Jason as where he failed. Dick Grayson should hate Jason.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number two, the most important thing for me is that, look, I appreciate the concept. I actually really appreciate the concept. But any potential that Jason Todd might have had as a character was stolen away by Dan Drake. It really is that simple. And once Damian was gone, Jason Todd became too much of another thing in Charlie to, work as that stabilizing agent to this group of mercenaries. What the fuck was I going to say? Of group of vigilantes. So yeah, like Jason Todd, I can appreciate the character. I can understand why people like him rationally, but like a huge part of me just wants him gone, and maybe somebody tries again in 10 years and figures it out. But right now, he's just a dude with a lot of guns, and he's literally the Red Hood. Why is he the Red Hood?
He's a boring version of the Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
How do you fuck up the Punisher? The Punisher is.
The Punisher is simple. He's a guy who hates crime, and he shoots it in the face.
Yeah,
this is a guy who, if you rent a jet ski too, you gotta kiss the baby goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love it.
That's so important to me.
Have you ever read the Punisher Christmas special?
Yes.
I need to read it.
It has some of the least sexy art of all time, but it also has Punisher squeezing down a chimney to shoot a mob boss, and him saying, "The Grinch made this look easier."
Like, one of my favorite lines of dialogue in Punisher comics I remember in the 90s, he was being interrogated by this officer or something. And,
yeah. How old are you? 36. Caliber.
Where do you live? I live on the edge.
It's going.
That's good.
It's why we created the Punisher, just for that
I
scene.
do want to kind of because I think that the only character I can do this with would be Deadpool. I want to write like a thing where Punisher goes out and kills Deadpool, and Punisher does those Garth Ennis-isms, and just Deadpool would be just like, "Who are you talking to? Are you having a stroke? Stop fucking narrating!"
My favorite thing was
does he know he's in a comic book too?
Okay, so you know how in Civil War, Cap like beats the shit out of Punisher when Punisher like shoots those two guys.
Stop fucking narrating.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes.
That's why I said.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, Mighty God King, my favorite blogger ever, did something called "I Don't Need Your Civil War," which.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things.
He just took Civil War and just rewrote the dialogue. Everything else is the same. Just change the dialogue, and then Steve beats the shit out of the Punisher for just stop narrating, stop it, stop. He won't stop.
No, my personal favorite was when they're looking at the body of Clone Thor, and it has Spider-Man going, "Think we might have joined the wrong side?" And then Yellow Jacket goes, "Gee, I don't know, Peter. Is it wrong to clone a god and then put the brain of a sociopath in it? That's a real moral quandary. If you're a fucking moron."
I love that. I loved when Nighthawk was bitching about how nobody gives him any respect because he led the Defenders and it's really, really important to him. And then I just really liked the part where Stan Lee started narrating and then Mark Miller started narrating and Joe Quesada told him to knock it off, but then Stan Lee just keeps narrating and he won't stop, and it was just really funny.
Joe Quesadilla. Oh, boy.
Oh man! Remember still were the fucking day that you remember.
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second.
Thing. I was saying that you just reminded me of the whole Dead Squad coalition group in Civil War. You know, Reed Richards, Yellow Jacket, and who else was there? Tony fucking Stark.
Tony was there. I'm gonna throw my friends in a negative zone internment camps. That's okay.
Well, I like that there was in the Spider-Man comic, the whole thing was that they're permanently in there. They're going to stay in there in perpetuity, and that's what makes Spider-Man leave. And then in Civil War, it's it's only temporary until we sort this out. So it's there should have been some,
consistency?
Was it them saying no, it's only for now, but not actually?
Yeah, the other one is in Straczynski's shitty Fantastic Four because, the reason that Reed Richards sides with Registration is because when Joe McCarthy started doing his commie hunt, Reed Richards' uncle stood up to him and said he wouldn't go on the stand and finger communists, and he went to jail for that. And Reed Richards goes, "And my uncle was wrong to do that. You don't tell powerful people to go to hell."
Your fucking kid's a mutant, okay?
Oh, wow.
Well, I liked what Dwayne McDuffie did when he took over Fantastic Four.
Dwayne McDuffie was so good.
Yeah,
I miss him every day.
Yeah, his solution was that, and it makes way more sense, was Reed Richards was practicing psychohistory from Foundation, and he was doing that whole thing where he calculated it, and the future where Registration goes through was the best of all the possible bad futures. So that's why, and that makes sense.
He essentially read the What If comics before they were published.
Yeah.
Well, I do like in I Don't Need Your Civil War, they do have the explanation, and Sue Storm goes, "Okay, Reed, honey, Foundation was just a book.
He writes the letter back to Sue. Dear Susan, please come back. Please, 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 please come back. I can't tell our children apart. I need you. Please. I'm lost. Who are these people?
It's such a...
That
I
whole
wouldn't be surprised.
Civil
I
War
wouldn't be surprised if
is.
that's back to line.
No, Civil War, when it came out, like, everybody was, like, raving about how interesting it was and, like, how great it was, and it's just... And then, like, that last issue, I've never seen fan reactions turn since Chuck Austin and the Draco. Which, okay, and...
The Draco, you mean I broke out
the
of
Draco or anything by Chuck Austin.
Draco,
Okay.
you mean the I broke out of my dimension to fuck Mystique so I could have a kid so that I could break out of my dimension?
Yes. God, Nightcrawler is my favorite
Draco
character.
story is pretty much when they retconned Magneto pretending to be Zorn into Zorn pretending to be Magneto, pretending to be Zorn, pretending to be Zorn, pretending to be Magneto.
Oh my god.
What, like, and now Zorn's an actual character, I guess?
Yeah.
Honestly, oh my god.
3 fucking weeks.
Here's the only thing I remember about Chuck Austin's X-Men run, which I tried to read after I read Grant Morrison's X-Men run, and
Why?
boy,
Why do you hurt me like this?
There were some things I liked about it, though. I did like Good Guy Juggernaut.
okay,
I
but
really
look,
liked
here's the
Kane
thing.
Marco dropping all his old friends because he actually cared about these kids that he was their PE teacher for. And then they went like Black Tom killed Beak and just frickin' it was like
I love Beak. Why did Beak so great?
and then Chris Claremont started writing him in New Excalibur, and that book was garbage.
Nightcrawler's pretty good. Chris Claremont is writing Nightcrawler. That's been a pretty fun book.
What?
Yeah,
Chris Claremont is back? Like amongst us mortals? Chris Claremont is amongst us mortals again?
Yeah, he's writing a Nightcrawler solo book, and it's great.
Yeah, Nightcrawler's back from the dead, and I actually that's one of the solicits from the Wolverine is dead stuff that actually interested me.
Because a few years ago you had that story Jason Aaron wrote about Wolverine dealing with Nightcrawler's death, and now you've got a Nightcrawler story about dealing with Wolverine's death.
Yeah. And that's
my God.
interesting to me.
Poor Elf.
No, Nightcrawler is actually a lot of fun, and the story where Nightcrawler comes back from the dead, so much fun. So much fun. Hell Pirates!
See, I avoided that book because I haven't enjoyed anything that Chris Claremont has written in 20 years.
The story where Nightcrawler comes back is actually by Jason Aaron.
See, now I'm going to have to go track that one down.
Yeah, and Nightcrawler, I mean, maybe you won't like it, but the Nightcrawler book is actually a lot of fun.
And I like fun comics, so
Yeah.
give
There
me
you go.
more.
Yeah.
Give me more fun. And that's what we need. And that's going to be it for today. It was an enjoyable time.
Shit.
Oh,
that
Now
was
you
5 hours.
Now you know the crew. I hope you enjoyed listening to us bullshit. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with a full episode, with a full just dedicated comics episode with Ann, and Juan and Jerry will be sitting around talking about movies all the time. You can find all that stuff on nerdstock.net. Come by, check it out, enjoy the reading, and audio fun.
I just
What do you
wanna
want to say,
before-
Juan?
Just before you quit, we're doing Brain on Airwaves. We're doing Outside the Comforts of True Detectives, episodes 1 to 5. Me and Jerry earn our FBI badges and went alongside Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson as they investigated a terrible case that was really mostly a terrible show.
And Juan has Ninja Turtles comics and cartoons to watch and read.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch everything. Not really everything, but I'm gonna watch the 2003 cartoon again, which I remember very fondly, even though I don't really remember it. And I'm gonna read the IDW comic, which I've been told is amazing. And I will probably watch the current show as well, just to talk about it.
The show, I want you to, of the current show, I'd like you to watch the pilot and the episode New Girl in Town, where Karai shows up, which is a lot of fun.
All right, I'll watch those two. And we'll be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and what you should debate movie. Which I think at this point
we will not be watching.
At this point, I think it's pretty clear that if I have to tell you to debate a bait movie, you already made your mind, and we probably cannot be friends, so whatever. Yeah, that's not for this week. We'll probably be I'll probably be posted about The Simpsons, as I've been planning to, move my retrospective on The Simpsons to Nerdstock. I don't know if Jerry has any plans to do that with Down Crime Alley, but I sure hope so, because it's...
Yeah. I think I'll probably move all the episodes I've done just for sake of completion.
Very well then, so that's what we have teased out for you, the crew. The Brain on Airwaves squad is now at Nerdstock, I guess.
Yep.
Listen to Brain on Airwaves, it's really great.
Yep. All right, guys. Everyone have a good one. We'll be back in a bit with talking about comics. We also have a video game show starting up soon with my friend Jill. You guys will enjoy that. And we'll be back on Tuesday with a Suikoden Day special where Anne and myself and a bunch of other Suikoden nerds will sit and talk about our favorite series in existence for a good long while. Anyway, hope you have a good one. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back.
Peace and be happy, folks.
Bye.
Night.